Hello, people of the world of the internet. Welcome to this. My 1982 Toyota Celica Supra that I'm doing a mini build series on to give away to one of you. Today's objective, I have a trash can of doom full of dry ice and I know how to use it. Now, I don't know about you, but it's kind of nonsensical to spend a lot of effort cleaning one thing only to make something else even more dirty. So, with that said, I'm constructing a Dexter's laboratory around the car to help keep the shop clean. My design has improved a bit. This time it'll allow light in, but also not blow around as easy with the compressed air. The vast majority of you have probably already seen the underside of this car when I did the manual transmission swap on it, but just to catch you up, when I manual swapped the car, I scrubbed and degreased all up here in the top of the transmission tunnel, so that's already clean. Also, the transmission crossmember has been freshly repainted, as has the drive shaft and the limited slip differential. My trouble areas are gonna be right here on the frame rail because I did not pressure wash or degrease the entire underside of the car first. My shop is not set up or designed to pressure wash inside. Every time I do, I keep the door open and I greatly regret it after, especially when it's 112 degrees outside like it is today. So it's not happening. Now, as far as the equipment goes, I finally have my own machine. Thanks to the support of viewers like you. Is that like from the Reading Rainbow? What did that came from something. Anyway, I was able to purchase this machine. Okay, read instructions first. Quick disconnect. This is going to be excessively dry air. My trusty little air compressor has some new upgrades. Put a big dryer filter right here on the side of it to help keep moisture out. I'm also going to periodically come out here and empty the receiver to make sure no moisture builds up in it. Neat. Okay. That's thoughtful. I like that. Well, let's see. Are you designed for adults or children? Does it have feet? It has little footsies. Awesome. It's actually for tall people. That's amazing. Inspirations of wearing a bunny suit one day. This wasn't exactly the one I was thinking of. Ouch, of my head. Normally I don't drape plastic over the top of the car. I don't really care if it gets dirty or not because the whole car has to be paint corrected. But this does make it a lot easier than having to tape the plastic to the car. Those are nice gloves. Nice. Let's see how this thing works. Now I have two tips, a wide boy and a gun barrel. I'm gonna go with the wide boy. I'm just gonna dive right into this and see how it works. It's not my first time using a dry ice machine. It's the first time with this one, but I love that this thing has an LED light built into the gun. That's smart, and it's rechargeable. So I'm gonna do this little engine crossmember first, just sheer curiosity, see what it does. Now keep in mind, I did 0 degreasing under here, so yeah. That is what's stuck to it, and this is where I just did a quick pass. That's a clean knuckle, that's a dirty knuckle. That thing works amazing so far. Clogging up. Didn't take long. So there's one main thing that will ruin the effects of a dry ice blaster, and that is moisture in your air. And despite all of the things I have done to try to dry my air, I'm still getting moisture in it. Second issue is grease and oil under the vehicle. It tried, but it's not designed to take that off. It is a tool after all, and it's kind of like trying to use a hammer as a spatula. You can't. I mean, you could, but it's gonna suck. This ice is gonna sublimate fast, so I just gotta shut up and use it. I'm gonna try the areas back here where there's less grease and oil. That works great back there. Absolutely great. Pellets. It's already clogging up. 5 minutes of use and it's already clogging up. Ah, I'm never gonna get this done. Something that I learned with the last ice machine I had is every time I go to refill the hopper, I give it a good blow out and just let air run through the machine. It helps a lot with the clogging issue. I switched out the tip to this little round black gun barrel one. It doesn't have as small of a reducer in it, so we'll see how this does. Immediately I notice a massive difference, and I think what's gonna happen is this is not going to ice over as fast as the reduced wide tip does. This tip works really good. Oh, I can taste the dirt in my fucking teeth. So a question a lot of people are probably gonna ask is this really worth the cost for a dry ice machine when you could do the exact same thing under here with some degreaser and a brush? And the answer is no, I don't think it's worth it. I think this tool is designed for the kind of community that sits around drinking scotch, discussing their Porsche collection, and the next time they're gonna visit Monaco. It's a great tool, it has its purpose, but unless you're running a commercial business or you have very expensive cars. Aha! Science! So far, any complaints I have, I can't really pinpoint on the machine. It works just as good as the last machine I used. It's just dry ice itself. It's cold. It wants to freeze things. I've emptied the air compressor's receiver 3 times today, and I drained the little filter every single time I fill the hopper, and I'm still getting moisture. So I just rented this guy. It's an industrial size filter for compressed air so it can be perfectly dry. If this doesn't fix it, then there's no hope. You can see the piles of dry ice I had to dump out because this thing keeps clogging. And it's not the pellets either. Like, these pellets are fine. This has been sitting on the ground for a good 20 minutes now. So this thing operates 100% on pneumatic pressure, and there's this little auger screw that pulsates back and forth with tiny holes below it, and a metal mesh screen. I believe it's made out of stainless. That is where these tiny little rice pellets of dry ice drop down into and then are forced out of the gun via air pressure. All right, it's spraying ice. It is working. Hello, it's the following morning. So hear me out. I have a theory on what's happening with all this moisture condensation buildup. Right now it's still early in the morning, so it's only probably 95 degrees or so outside and about 40% humidity. But yesterday this thing was sitting in direct sunlight when it was about 112 outside. Which means the air in that air compressor must have been anywhere from, I would guess, 120 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit, because as you compress air, it gets hotter. So this is my solution. I ran a long air hose all the way coupled up to another super long air hose and then into the dual dryer assembly. So in theory, in my head, by adding all that extra hose, it should give that air time to cool off as it goes through and comes into this much cooler building. I think the main issue is the fact that the air compressor is located outside, where it's likely probably 30 degrees hotter than it is in here. So it's basically, I'm making weather. Look, surfing in the USA. We'll see how much product I have left. Wow, I lost probably 50 pounds of this at least overnight, maybe even more. Jeez. just made it a full 2 hours without this thing freezing up. Well, it froze up, but it took 2 hours and there's no moisture coming out of the line. Huge improvement. That plastic looks and feels brand new now. This thing looks like the building on the top of Mount Washington, New Hampshire in the wintertime. It's frozen solid. There's like hardly anything coming out of there. Before this ice turns into a shit-flavored snow cone, one of you in the comments section on a past video said to try it on carpet. So I'm gonna dry ice blast the carpet, see what happens. Those plastic. Here you go, for test purposes. That's the before. So aside from give my carpet frostbite, that was the weirdest sentence I've ever said in my entire life. I'm gonna call that one inconclusive. I will try dry ice blasting a different carpet. I'm gonna try a lighter carpet and one that's in newer shape. This is more of a detailing tool, not a restoration tool. So let's give this a shot. Let's see what it'll do with this texturized finish right here that's full of dirt and grime and old wax. It's a satin finish. Oh yeah, that's great for getting crap around that stuff. Maybe the plastic on the side of the headlight? The following day, and I'm feeling kind of mildly defeated on this project. Welcome to my abyss. Welcome. As to be expected, any of the areas that were covered in oil and grease, the dry ice had no effect on whatsoever. As with the transmission casing, it made zero effect on this as well. Zero effect on those. And I must reiterate, dry ice, at least on that size of a machine, isn't designed to be a degreaser. It did a pretty fantastic job at cleaning this texturized area on the front fender. The back half of the car though turned out pretty fantastic, especially the fuel tank area and up above the rear subframe. The wheel wells look far better than I expected. I mean, you can see little inconsistencies in the texture, and that's just areas that I didn't hit up long enough. It's hard to see because it was frosting everything over. If you thought that this was a done deal though, and I was just gonna leave it like this, you don't know me well enough. Cue the construction music. I don't know what that sounds like. Bob the Builder. This tape smells weird. I feel like I'm building a fort. Making a mess. That was $75 in plastic down the drain. Pretty dark in here. I don't know how I'm gonna see what I'm doing. Oh, this is gonna straight up just fall once I take this off. Oh, I gotta get ready. A tetanus shot now after I take this thing off. Last one. Oh geez. Obviously, if you want to clean the underside of the car, you gotta take the exhaust off first, because how else are you supposed to clean above it? Ouch! It landed between my boobs! I got it! See, this is gonna be difficult because this thing is zinc coated, and if I use any harsh cleaners or even a harsh abrasive bristle, That was really difficult. I'd like to say you say harsh, abrasive bristle 5 times fast without screwing it up. That's tough. I'll essentially just create a giant rust magnet right here. There's a reason why this thing is rust free still. Now that this is out of the way, I think you have an idea of what's coming up next. There's a reason why I still have my shower curtain of doom up as well. Sitting underneath that plastic under the Celica, a full catback exhaust, and a set of coilovers that need to go on this thing. So in the next video, we'll continue where we left off right here. You'll see the final result of the underside detailing. There's less than a month left to go now on the Supra giveaway, and then I will jump back onto the Celica V8 swap. It has to be like 20 degrees hotter up here than it is down at ground level. It is crazy. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon with another video. Thank you for watching. Bye.